it's an honor to be here today. I'm really glad to be welcomed into this place and to be able to honor Hannah together with you. So, as Charmaine said, I work with a nonprofit here in Utah called Better Days 2020, and our mission is to share stories of women who have made our state and our country and our world a better place. So, back about 4 years ago, I think it was, back in 2018 and 2019, we met with different community leaders to talk about women who should be featured, and Hannah's name came up because of her work for voting rights. One of the great legacies that we have here in Utah is that women here have led out on making sure that women could vote, on changing laws, and making sure that all people have an equal say in government, and that's really important. And Noe will talk so much more about her life, but we were able to work with different people, including an artist named Brooke Smart, to feature these women who we were talking about who've shaped Utah, and Hannah is one of them. So this is an illustration that Brooke Smart did of Hannah. So you can see that she has Hawaii represented on this side, her life there, and on the other side of her in this illustration is the United States Capitol, because Hannah spoke for women's rights and specifically for Hawaiian women's rights at Washington, D.C. and in places of power. And I think that's a very important legacy to have her wisdom and to have her advocacy, that she raised her voice to speak for the people of her nation and that she raised her voice to speak for women. I think that's a really incredible legacy to follow on. So as we were working on this project, we were able to include Hannah's story in this book, which is about 25 women who were in Utah who worked to make voting rights and equality for women possible. So I'm glad that Hannah's included in there. We're glad for the family and others who have graciously shared her story and information about her life with us. Utah teachers use this in their classrooms in 7th grade when people talk about Utah studies. Kids can learn about Hannah as one of the Utahns who has made our state a better place, and I think that's great. While we were working on that project, we became aware of a national project. So the year 2020 was the anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the first time that most women across the United States could vote. It was the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment that extended votes to women citizens. That didn't include everybody, but it included many women. It was also Utah's 150th anniversary of women voting. So we have a long legacy of that in our state and our country. And there was a National Votes for Women trail that was started by an organization on the East Coast in New York, and they wanted to put up markers honoring women who had worked for voting rights across the country. This is a virtual trail. You can Google it, the National Votes for Women Trail, and you can see all of the sites online. There are about 2,000 sites listed there, and there are many from Utah. But there are also 250 physical markers in different places across the country. This was funded by the Pomeroy Foundation and the National Collaborative for Women's History Sites. And we're very grateful that Utah was able to get 8 of those markers. So we worked with Richard and Noe and Charmaine, and it's been many, many years in the making because the pandemic delayed things so long. But we're very glad that this marker is here to honor Hannah. I know this is not her resting place, but I think this is an important place to honor where she lived and where she contributed her voice for women's rights. So this is one of 8 markers in Utah. Like I said, this is the last one to be installed, so we're really glad to see that. When we know more about the people who came before us, I think that can inspire and empower us to speak out, to try to make change, to solve problems, to bring people together. There are so many ways that our world is better because of the people who came before. And when we honor their spirit and when we carry that legacy forward,